everyone and welcome to a new video. I have ish a new setup for now, but it's not going to stay like this. You can see too much of my mess, but it's fine, it's fine. So, as you can read for the title for this video, I am today starting Berserk Volume 6, the Deluxe Edition, which is obviously why we are here. I usually vlog through reading chapter by chapter in these. I'm also going to have some Patreon sprints in like 15 minutes, so I'm going to read this on sprints as well, and then as well as taking breaks with them and you and how all the things works. I am terrified, I'm scared, I'm so excited to continue. I haven't actually put Volume 7 on my TBR for me, so I'm really sad about it, but I have a lot of other books there. I'm very excited to continue this and hopefully have this up soon. You can see so much reflection in this. But yeah, let's unpack this baby, right? It's too much of a struggle. Okay. And then I need to take off the pretty fold paper. I need to throw this. And here it is. It smells wonderful. It's gonna hurt inside. So this covers, if you are unaware, volume 16, 17, and 18, which I feel like is so much, but it's actually so little. And I am so ready to start this and cry. Correction arc, last chapter, first one called Monster. You shall hear back from me in about 20 pages, which is not that much. I am not emotionally ready, but I guess I just have to be. Yay. Okay, done with Monster. We see these knights people hunting guts and they found lots of bodies and I'm blaming the swordsman, so they do believe it's him. Again, I do believe that they are misunderstanding because he's hunting the things hunting. But they think it's him because every time he goes, there's shit everywhere. But that's because he goes where the shit is, you know? And then we see Guts still finding the small elves, aka children. And then he burns the confused and like burns a lot. And then the queen, I don't actually remember her name anymore. He's like, what the hell are you? And that's basically what happened in Monster. So now we're going into Sky Demon. Also, I need to start my sprints. That's what's going on. Yay. Okay, in this little chapter, we just had the queen elf. Is her name Racine? Or was that the girl? No, the girl is Jill. So she gets mad at Guts because he killed everyone. So she explodes in like grossness and attacks him basically. That's all that happened. And now they're gonna fight. And I need more light because it's getting dark. It always gets dark. Gonna fix it. Next chapter is a bloody night sky. Really nice. Okay, so they're fighting. And it's not going that well. It's because Guts can't like hit her. And he like covers himself with his hand to kind of stop her. So she takes like a huge like part of her arm in his hand. And he's stabbed. And he's like, they're flying up in the air. And she's like holding him like through his arm. This is his good arm, by the way. Not his robot arm. And I'm like, dude, and he pretends to be unconscious, but then he wakes up and he has like uses his explosive arm to like explode her in the tummy, and now they're falling down from the sky, and it looks insane. And I'm like, dude, he is so extreme. I love him so much, but jeez. Okay, so that's how that went. We're good, now they're falling, but I'm pretty sure it will be fine. Now it is the space between demon and man. Okay, so Gus actually keeps missing, even though like he wants to kill her, but he's like, I think he's like holding himself a bit back because of the story that Jill told him. But he knows that Racine will go to Jill to save her, feeling a bit of a lesbian vibes from what I'm just saying. While like she's comforting Jill, he stabs her. Like not Jill, he stabs Racine, and he's like kind of riding her on her back while like having stabbed her. There's also like a demon baby that comes out of somewhere and lands on Jill. I don't know if that was in the tummy of like Racine, it seems like it. And she's like freaking out and like kind of going a bit crazy. Literally like Puck is like, let's go. And she's just like standing there going crazy, Jill. While like Gus is like riding on Racine with his sword through her back, and it looks totally crazy. I don't think she's actually dead yet. That's what's going on. I feel like I'm not explaining things properly. It's hard to explain these things. But it's brutal. Next one is called Firefly. And everything is sad. Great. So we got a flashback of what really happened with Racine, where like her parents were looking for her, and then I got super mad when they found her because she was waiting for the owls in the valley. And then they came and were like, oh my god, you have delayed the harvest because you decided to be a little brat. So they got super mad, and that's when she found the bell height and got her wish, and I assume they died because of it. And now she died in the grass, and she got to see a real elf, which was Puck. I think she's dead. Actually, she hasn't really died yet. She looked at Puck and was like, oh my god, a real elf. And they were all sad. Now it is the way home. So assuming going maybe home. Oh, she's still literally not dead. In the next chapter, she's still here. Called The Way Home. I just said so. Jesus, I am. Someone was writing to me on Discord, but it's fine. Yay. You know, I was complaining. It was a bit dark. This is a bit much. It's a bit much. So, Guts coming over to Racine, who she's still not dead, by the way. I thought she died. And to behead her. And then Jill is like, no, she can't even move, don't kill her. And then like protects her with her body. And then he doesn't do it. And then suddenly he gets like an arrow on his shoulder. Because all like the villagers and the knights show up. That was there in the beginning. And I can't even see the camera right now. And then he runs off. And then as they go off, I think Jill's father is there maybe. And then Racine suddenly flies because she can fly again. Even though she's stabbed and wounded and whatever. And it's gonna fly home. Just a bit like the story with Peak Elf that he had. That's what happened. And now it is Blue Sky Elf. What's the next one? I assume Racine is soon gonna die. Sometimes I'm just like, yeah, I'm done now. And then like, they're like, nah, gonna continue with Blue Sky Elf. Okay, that was the last chapter of The Lost Children. We are still in the Conviction arc, but now it's the Binding Chain, not The Lost Children anymore. So what we had is that Guts, you know, ran off because the knights were there. There's a lot of fog, so the other knights couldn't find him. And then Jill goes after him and is like, please take me with you. But then he shows her kind of like the darkness and what is there. And it's like, I'm gonna leave you now. And then he leaves. Obviously, he wouldn't bring like that kind of innocent child with him. Really sorry about the light. And then we see her like look out at the sky and like Puck follows her home and looks out at the sky. And she's like, oh, elves are beautiful. Life is beautiful. I will try to make something out of my life. Blah, 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 blah. And then it ends. And now, as I said, we're done with Lost Children arc. We're going into the Binding Chain. And the first one is called The Beast of Darkness. That was an arc that I didn't think was going to be as long as it was. But it makes sense, I guess. Not an arc. I mean, a chapter under arc. I mean, all of the last part was, you know, the Golden Age. And now, like, small chapters and stories underneath that. So, yeah. I started. Is it going to just be a kind of a new case? Still with the, like, the knights hunting Guts? I don't know. Seems like it. I just want to see Casca again. I want to see Griffith again. I get this story and I really, really love it. But I'm just like, I want to see what's going to happen. But we shall see. Okay, fine. Gonna start now. The Beast of Darkness. Okay, so we have Guts in the forest. And then he's like surrounded by like small shit demons basically saying like, oh, you're killing. I didn't understand because kill children, you killed everyone, la 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 la. And then it said that I didn't understand if he is becoming the Beast of Darkness. Or if, like, they mean that he is gonna meet the Beast of Darkness. Like, they called him a beast, or did they talk about someone else? I got a bit confused. But basically, he was just like, how many shit small things do I need to kill? How many things do I need to go through to get to him? And we saw a picture of Griffith. And I'm just like, yes! I just said I not exactly missed him, but I just said I want to see him again. So I'm glad that we got like a little glimpse. He's basically just killing him way around to finally get to the final boss. So yeah, and now the next part is called The Holy Iron and Chain Knights, part 1, which is that people hunting him. Wonder if they will end up becoming friends or if he will actually kill them all. Or like he would tell them what's just really going on. Wonder what will happen. It says part 1, so I assume that the next part maybe will focus on them. I actually don't know. But we shall see. We shall see. Well, I don't know why I peeked there, because I just saw some boobs. But basically, making our way to final boss. And now, I guess the Chain Knights are in the way. Okay, so the Holy Iron Chain Knights surround Guts, try to take him down. He struggles a bit because he can't grip his sword. I assume because he wounded his sword hand earlier when he was stabbed through. And they all try to catch him, like a bunch of knights, and they all just suck. They can't take down the wounded man. And one of the dudes is like, well, it's because the Holy Chain Iron Knights are actually pretty born knights. They're just noble kids that just have never been in a real fight before. And I was like, lol. But either way, they're all struggling. And then he finally grips his sword and managed to like just take it, shove it through a bunch of people that all die. And now they're sending in this like bigger, tougher knight called Asan. So now it's the Holy Iron Chain Knights, I assume, part 2. It says here. Yes. So, that's what's going on. Love seeing Guts being the best of everyone. At least when it's not, you know, with Griffith. Okay. So he fights the dude, and he dodges pretty easily at Sactra, and he wants to take him down, but he's very wounded. So he knows that he has like 1 shot left in him. So he knows that he will go for their leader. So he goes for Lady Finesse. Is that her name? I already forgotten it. Lady Farnese. I should write that down. That someone protects her, I think, and then he gets that person's down and just falls all together. She like takes out the sword and like barely touches him and he falls apart because he knew he had only that one big attack left in him. And then they're all like, oh my god, you're so good, you took him down by one top, haha. And then they're all like, he's down, let's kill him. But then the vice commander's like, you're gonna kill a man who's down? That is really unhonorable. He defended himself. He came to him as one. He defended himself because they all wanted to revenge their friends that died. But he's just like, well, you're disrespecting their honor if you attack him now that he's like down. And then they take him with them. And he's just like, why is it so honorable? What's going on? But also he's really wounded, so he can't resist them right now. But I assume it's gonna go better. So we now see him like in the next chapter being in like chains. He has like his hand and like a finger around his neck, and he has a lot of muscles because obviously his other hand is, he doesn't have one. That is his look right now. I'm gonna show you. This next chapter. Look at him. Jeez. But yeah, next chapter is the Hollow Idol. So now he's gonna have an arc with these people here. Interested, also scared for him. But yeah, let's see. Okay, so they have him in their camp, and Lady Farnese wants to interrogate him on her own. It's like, and they're all like, oh, we're gonna talk to the vice commander. And then she's like, you're gonna follow my orders. So clearly she's not been respected in this chain command thing, even though she's their theory commander. And then she's alone with Gus and asks him questions, and he's just like, I'm not gonna answer you. She gets really mad. She like whips him with this whip thing. He starts bleeding. He says that she's basically hollow and that she would never understand anything he ever tried to explain to her because he was just like, do you believe in demons and stuff? And she was just like, that's bluffs for me. So there's that. And then he just basically lost. It doesn't care at all that she's torturing him, ruining him. And then the vice commander comes in and like stops the thing. And then they are gonna leave or whatever. And he looks out the window and sees something demon-like saying sacrifice. I don't even know. And she's praying. Lady Farnese has some issues. Clearly wanna show herself off to be whatever. Are they gonna get a thing for a while? I don't know. But that was volume 16. So we're now going into volume 17. Very, very cozy stuff we have here. And the first one is called The Unseen. So, Puck comes with Kights to Guts. He's out. And he's just like gonna escape. And then he finds Lady Farnese, who is like whipping herself while she's praying. And I'm like, girl, you need therapy. And then he just takes her. He knocks her out easily, takes her, and he says, I'm gonna set a fire on her ass if you don't let me go. And they all are just like, oh, we need to let him go. He set fire to a horse to escape, and then he takes a horse and runs away. And then she wakes up and is like, let me go, obviously. And then Parks tries to talk to her or like communicate with her, but she can't see him. I don't know if it's because she doesn't believe or something has happened to her, who knows. And then there's like a dude trying to like shoot her with a crossbow, but like ghost skull things comes behind him and he looks scared. And then that chapter ends. Very fun. Now we're going into a night of miracles. It seems to be a miraculous night. Very much so. So they are attacked by the like flowing head skull things. And she can like, I feel like she can't see them, but she's like, she just see darkness. She also has the boobs out all the time. Great. Either way, he attacks them and like takes them down and she's like, what's happening? And then she almost falls off her horse, but he saves her. She's like, why did you save me? But he says he has questions for her. And that he doesn't want her head crushed or whatever. And then a couple of dogs show up. And she's like, oh my god, dogs. But they're clearly demons. And she's like, what's going on? This shouldn't be possible. This is not real. So clearly she can see that. So now I think her whole, like, you know, life and, like, convictions and beliefs are gonna be, you know, questioned and, like, what's it called? Proven wrong in a way, I guess. And he's just like, this miracle night, look at this, haha, I don't know, even know what's going on. Either way, next part, past and future. Let's go. So they're fighting the demons, and then she's trying to run away, like they're fighting the demon dogs. She's like, I need to escape. And then the horse is also a demon and turns to her and gets a huge penis and tries to rape her. And Guts sees this and is very triggered because he thinks back on like when it happened to Casca. So it gets even more mad and obviously like saves her and gives me more conviction and stuff. And then just like, just sit tight, I will fight. And then she just basically sits there. And then this morning, so like been fighting all night with the demons things. And she's there and she looks very sad with her tits out. Sorry. I don't know if like I am the one sexualizing it. I don't know if they also try to normalize having their tits out all the time. But in a way it is normalized, but at the same time, I don't know if it's wrong because it is sexualized. It is a discussion I'm not have enough brain cells to do. Next chapter is Morning of Truth. So maybe then they will talk about what happened. Look, he's turning her around and then she will get picked up by the other knights and they will be like, she's corrupted, probably. Something like that. What is going on? So we're done even kind of with that chapter. Either way, so in the morning, she has now been possessed. I was just, what is going on? Because there was just like dark desire demon things talking to her. And then she goes over to him and she's just like, hey, and starts licking on guts. And he's like, what is going on? And she like rubs herself naked on his sword. I'm like, that must hurt, girl. That must hurt. And it's just like, stab me open through my vagina. But he doesn't do that. The demon thing that possessed her goes out of her. And then one of the dudes from her army shows up. I actually don't know his name. Saves her in a way. He's like, she tells him that he should kill Guts if she cares about her honor. And he's just like, I would just die in the wind. He tried to draw his sword on Guts, and Guts draws his sword at him at the same time and like nick each other. But none of them actually hurt each other. They were both good at dodging. So it seems like an upcoming fight can go between them. I still don't know his name. I will show you his face so you maybe know what I'm talking about. Here them like nicking each other. Barely. So that's him. And then they leave and she's just like, I want him to die. He has disgraced me. And then they leave. Guts leaves. I don't even know. So we're done with that. What's it called? Chapter, which was called Binding Chain. We're now going into birth ceremony chapter. What does that mean? I don't know. What is a birth ceremony? I don't want to know actually. And it's now we're on Revelation part 1. I'm scared. We are not even done with like the Chain Knights even. That was a chapter. So let's see what the birth ceremony chapter can give us. Okay, so we have these people moving in the wilderness, basically, together with this dude named Lord Laban. Don't remember if we've seen him before. We might have, but now it's such a long while ago that I don't remember who he is. And then there is like, comes loose these rocks and he finds like a body in a rock, so he goes ahead to the town. And it seems like a lot of people have died of the plague. And like that generally the kingdom has gone to shit, and he's just like, what happened 2 years ago with the king, because he went crazy. And that was, I think, the king who was the father of Charlotte that Griffin had sex with, and he went, you know, total ballistic after that, as we know. And Duke comes and says that the king has now died. So will we see Charlotte again? I don't know if this is even the same king, but it seemed like to be him. And then we see like a lot of the bodies, because like a lot of rats are running around, etc., because they died of the plague in this town. I don't even know where we are. And we see like a monster kind of rise being built of those bodies. And then the chapter ended. And now we are in Revelations part 2. So things are going very great for everyone here. Yay. Honestly, don't even know what happened in this one. But we actually see Charlotte. So the king's dying and the nobles are talking, etc. And then it's just like, you need to go and see your father. She's like, no, that man is not my father. And then we see him on his throne and he starts to burn. I don't know if it's in his head because he's sick, or he actually starts to burn and a hawk appears and he sees Charlotte in a dress. And then I think he dies. And we see Charlotte being like, father! And then she cries. And then the scene ends. And then I think it's that. And then I think they're being invaded. We have a huge elephant. You know, like in Lord of the Rings, we have a huge elephant. And then lots of soldiers that invaded them. They have been in war, you know, many times. You know, that's what the Band of the Hawk did for them. They went out in war and fought. The kingdom has been in war for like the last 100 years. So I don't know how this is going to go. They don't have the Band of the Hawk in the war. And we just see, you know, Charlie sitting in her bed being like, hey, Lord Griffin, save me. I'm like, girl, he's a demon now. He's gone. I don't know how this is going to go, but yeah, stuff is happening. It's just, I feel like it's been so long since all that happened that I'm just like, ugh. But yeah, now we have Revelations part 3. You just heard me gasping out loud. I was just like, we saw Casca kind of, I don't even know what's going on. Everything is a bit like vague and weird right now. But basically, you have the wolf dude that fought like 400 years ago in the forest. Is that one when they were escaping with Griffith? I think so. And he sees like a vision of like this white hawk. I feel like that is Griffith maybe somehow. And he turns, you know, into that bigger monster. Is that even him? Is it someone else? Because I feel like he had an eye thing. So who is this dude? Either way, a hawk thing comes and talks to him. A white hawk that also the king saw. And then we have like a woman being burned on like a fire. And I realized that it's Casca. I couldn't recognize her. I didn't recognize Casca. I only knew it was her because she has the brand. Because of the hair, she's so different. But now, of course, when I see the face, obviously I can see it is her. And it seems like she's burned on a table. But it seems like also to be a dream. And the wolf dude also just kind of had a dream. And then he like stands up and is like, did something happen to her? Which I assume is Casca. So is he going to go back and see if anything has happened to her? Also, this chair is making a lot of noise. I'm sorry. So, yeah, things are happening. But it was like kind of vague dream-like chapter thing. And also arrived in that town where everyone had died of the plague. I don't even know. Next one is called Cracks in the Blade. What blade, huh? In my heart. Guts went back to Erica and Rickard or whatever he's called to look for Casca, and it's like, is she okay? And they're like, well, she was actually gone a month ago, but you were gone 2 years and you didn't leave any messages or anything. And then the old dude, the blacksmith, is sick and old, so he's in the bed, and he basically tells Guts that like, you have cracks in you, you are depressed. And Guts was like, you don't know how it was. I lost everything. Okay, I'm sad. I want to go out and fight. And he was just like, well, you left one person you had left. You let the cracks deepen. He gives him like a long speech about what he did. And that was it. And now we are on a Feeble Flame. So I'm assuming you're gonna go and look for Casca. Keeping me in suspense of what has happened. But yeah, we had a little pep talk. This is giving me like stress because I'm so worried for everyone. I just want everyone to be okay. So Gut is having himself a little revelation party. So he can sleep in the cave, you know, that Casca was safe in. But he can't really sleep anyway because he can't sleep in the dark because he just thinks Demon will show up anyway. Even though he knows it's safe in theory. And he basically sits there and thinks about Casca and everything he had. And think about how he left her and that he probably never should have done that. And he regrets it. Maybe, and that he lost her without like knowing again that he lost something that he wanted and that he would never lose her again, basically. But also in the way of the beginning, he showed that Rickard, or whatever his name is, had made graves for all the people in the Band of the Hawk with swords, and it was a bit beautiful. But yeah, we shall see what happens to Casca. But yeah, it's a bit sad that he realized that maybe he shouldn't have left her like he did, but he did it because he wanted to go out for revenge. Going to the Holy Ground, part 1. What Holy Ground, who knows? But I almost cried in this chapter because we got to see flashbacks from like the people in Band of the Hawk and I miss them and I am upset and I want to go and cry. So that's great. Okay, so we see Guts asking for like a holy place because he knows that there's going to be a witch travel for Casca. That's what he saw, you know, in the campfire thing. So he gets told that there's a place called the Tower of Conviction. So he's going to go there. He also got like some new armor and his sword got refined or whatever. So he's leaving. And then we see Lady Fernice getting like basically scolded for being like, how did you let the black swordsman go? And she's like, and she's putting on suspension maybe? I don't even know. And she thinks about what happened with the horse and stuff and that like, that could not have been real. And then there's this caravan that gets attacked. And I don't know like who is on this caravan, but they get attacked. They're carrying someone. And then the other chapter just ended and now we're going into the Holy Ground part 2. So that's what's going on. Let's go. Okay, so this caravan is being attacked, I think was Lady Fernice's. And then there's this dude called Father Muscus that comes and saves them. And there's also like a bunch of refugees with them as well. Father Muscus was totally crazy as well, but he saved them, I guess. And they kind of, all the people who was mean, the people who attacked them got like kind of chained to a wheel and then like all the bones are broken and then they all die. He kind of throws himself at the lady there and he's like, help me. Where's Casca? And we see her and she look at them and then she's with, I guess, the refugees or whatever. She's with like some of the other ladies walking there. There's a lot of people there. And the people who attacked them, I think, was unhappy about like judgment or whatever. So yeah, Casca! Look at her! Casca! Oh! Okay. So now we're actually going into volume 80, which is the last volume in this one. I'm very upset about it, but it's fine. Still in Birth Ceremony chapter and it's Kushan Scouts part 1. So let's see what it has in store. Okay, so the Kushan Scout started with this child almost being robbed. He has food and he like poisoned them and then another army shows up and it's like, oh, are you okay? And he says the Kushan army came and they're like, really? Guess there's no proof of it because you know the unconscious people are around him. But then the Kushan army actually shows up and kills like all the soldiers in like Blink of an Eye. Then Guts shows up before they can kill the kid, who was like really smart actually. He's just good at pretending he's stupid. And now they're gonna fight because the next part is called Kushan Scouts Part 2. So I assume it's gonna be a little fight between Guts and the Kushan people. So Guts super easily beats this Kushan army thing. The kid Isidro is like super impressed. It's like, wow. And then the like one of the scouts, because they were actually scouts, they went back to like one of the leaders and reports and he knows who Guts is. Was he the dude that Guts fought in like an arena thing while Griffith was being, you know, being tortured or what? Like when Guts left him, was he the one he fought? Or was it something else? I don't remember. I think it was him. Because he was like far away, you know, and all that went down with the Band of the Hawk. Like, oh, it was a long time ago. So he knows who it is. Okay, next chapter is called Tower of Shadow Part 1. Let's see what it gives us. Doesn't sound like great. Okay, so we're having a great cozy time where we are in this town where like the Holy Chain Knights was traveling to, and there's like people begging for food that is going to the monastery, and like try to stop the caravan from going to the monastery because they're literally starving outside. And then there's this woman with this baby, and he's like, well, we can take the child here and like heal the child or whatever, give her food. And then she goes with them, and then they actually help the child, and then they take the woman away to this room full of people being tortured because he's like, all these people are guilty of being heretics and like going against our word or whatever. And there was like some people that killed the monk, and then he found all of them and like hung them up in cages and let them die or whatever. So yeah, there was a lot of torture there. People were hung from the boobs, people were being burned, a lot of stuff. And now they're gonna torture that woman because she was, you know, kind of heretic because she tried to take food from the monastery or whatever. And Lady Furice is there, and she's like very shocked of this happening. So that is what's going on. I think this is the place maybe I guess it's traveling to. I'm not sure. Tower Shadow Part 2 now. Really great, really cozy time. So we're in the camp again. Lots of people are starving. We have actually the part of the camp that have the prostitutes, which I feel like obviously is very natural for a camp to have like this, but I just feel like we don't see that often in like, I guess, my god, not that I'm seeing. But with them we have this lady who gets paid in food, which seems to be a smart thing, as well as a necklace, and he's like, oh, I love you. And then Casca's there. She's with a prostitute. She's not prostituting, she's not working, because she's just like, you need to consent to it, obviously, but they are like helping her, and like she has like bandages around her face so that she would seem like she has a disease or wounded, so that people just wouldn't take advantage of her because they wouldn't want to, you know, touch a diseased person. And then she's with like this girl who has like, I think she's infected in her vajayjay, and then she's scared. But also they're now out like alone, and it seems like monsters are coming up, and you know she has the mark, so they've been attracted to Casca. So this girl might die now. I don't know what's going on with Casca. She still haven't talked. She's like seems a bit, you know, gone and distant, and it's sad. Now we have going to see Children of Shadow, which seems to be a chapter, and they seem to soon be attacked. It would be sad. They didn't even get attacked. They just went back to where they came from. And then we go over to Lady Fernice, who is going to talk with Father, whatever he was called again, Father Muscus. And in one of his torturers, he has like torturers in masks, and one of them tells his story that their father gave him like a full body suit thing because he's allergic to sunlight, and now he makes weird sound because he's worshipping their god or whatever. He's lying on the floor being weird. The father. And she's gonna talk to him. So that was kind of what happened. The next one is called Fierce Believer, which definitely is the father. Okay. The priest did just talk about how convicted he is to God and that they act for God because Lady Furice tried to tell him like, maybe we shouldn't convict all these people. And he's like, nah, God. Okay, either way. And then we have Nina, who was the one with the affected vagina. One of his customers has fallen in love with her, and then they meet at midnight. And I assume they might go and fuck because they kiss. I don't even know if Casca's following them, but at least the other girl that like took Casca in is following them. Like she saw them at least. And they're calling Casca Elaine because they don't know her name because she doesn't speak. What's going on now? I assume maybe, I don't even know where they're going. But next chapter is called Bowels of the Holy Ground. Oh my god, there's an orgy. There's an orgy! We are around a fire and everyone is fucking around a fire. That's the Bowels of the Holy Ground. Very excited to see the orgy. So excited, obviously. Turns out the whole orgy thing was a bunch of demons. But yeah, we saw some sex. They had sex. There was like lots of people. But it turned out they weren't people. They were like gross skeleton demon things. Either way, and he realizes this. He thought first it was delusions, and then he realizes it was fake. And then they throw him off a cliff and kill him. And she's like, oh, he was a liar. So Nina, excuse me, Nina, clearly is not good. And then she's sad. So next chapter is called The Witch. Is that Nina? But Luca saw this. Luca is the name of the one that helped Casca, etc. And I guess she's going to confront her now. So maybe Luca. I don't even know. But let's see. Love a little orgy though. That was not even an orgy with people, just crazy demon things. Okay, so Luca just gives Nina a smack on the butt and is like, get your shit together. And then they're gonna go back, and then Casca is in the cave with other people. They seem to be people after all, but they turn kind of into demons for a moment. So I'm confused if they're like just like people demons, the ones that had the orgy in the cave. And then they try to rape Casca because they rip off her like bandages and try to rape her, and she gets like flashback to her, you know, trauma and actual rape. There's too much rape in this, okay. And then demons show up because they get triggered by her mark and like eat the faces of the people, and she's like, oh, this is her. And she tried to take like a little thing that shows up in the air. I think that Casca thinks that's her child. I don't even know what's going on. That happened, and now sad. But yeah, great. Spirit World Part 1 now. Let's go. Okay, so now we have Guts again, and the little kid caught up to him. What was his name? Isidro caught up to him and tried to take his sword. Cannot lift it. I guess it's like, he's not a toy, you know, because he pretended to be asleep or whatever. Then they get attacked by like wheels, which was the people that were hung in the wheels by like the priest dude, I assume, and they had now turned to demons and trying to kill him, and they are fighting, and the kid's just like, I want to be your apprentice, and they're fighting. So yeah, Spirit Road Part 2. Ow. Actually, for a moment, thought that was the last chapter, but there's one more. So, Spirit Road. Actually, what happens is that he ran away. He's not fighting anymore from the little kid as well. Skeleton Knight shows up, actually, and it's like, hey, sup, how you been? And then he tells Guts that, has he not seen like the symbol of the hawk? Like, you know, different people saw like the symbol of a white hawk. That means that one of the god hand is coming to their plane of earth. He basically said it with Griffith. And Guts is like, and they're trying, apparently, according to the Skeleton Knights, trying to remake the eclipse. And Guts is like, no. So the same thing is going to happen again. And Guts is like, no. Well, me and Costco survived last time, and he's like, well, just because you did last, that doesn't mean it will be exactly the same. And Gus was like, yeah, you helped us last time. This time I'm saving Costco by myself. But the Skeleton Knight said that she's meant to be alone anyway, no matter what it does or something. And then also Puck said something interesting, that the Skeleton Knight reminded him of an elf. So there's that. So yeah, there was a lot of like prophecies and stuff there, and I was just like, yeah, I pretend I understand what you're talking about. Now I think this is the last chapter in this. Actually, it's solely left, it seems to be, which is Pillar of Flame. Is this Charlotte, or am I being stupid? We shall see. And that was the last chapter, just kicked something. So in this one, we had them burning people at the stake, and one of the people burning at the stake had a child, and one of the like civilians around there was like, haha, maybe you guilty too, we should burn you too. Then the soldier who held Lady Freeze earlier stops her. Or the knights, I guess. They're not soldiers, they're knights. And I still don't know his name. I tried to... Serpio or something? I don't even know. He is a bit handsome. And it was not Charlotte we saw, by the way. It was Lady Freeze. They just look a bit alike. He just said that his mother was burned at the stake 3 years ago. Sat down. And I'm just like, And then another knight, which was the dude who slept with Luca earlier, if we're trying to keep a overview here. Like, who it couldn't be. And then we see a flashback of Lady Fenice when she was a kid, and she threw a torch at someone and burned them. And they were just like, oh, such a good girl. I guess that's why she was raised into like the knighthood. I don't know. Did she burn his mother at the stake? Then why is he following her and helping her? Maybe he's just waiting for revenge, or maybe he's just, I don't know. I don't know what's going on. But she masturbates thinking about like her past. Because she gets turned on. I don't even know what she gets turned on. And then she's just like, I'm not in the wrong. And then she's crying. And then the whole thing stopped. So I don't know. I can't talk about things properly. That was Volume 6. Things developed. Things happened. Blood was spilled. Moves were thrown. It was a good time. I really, really enjoyed myself. It's so dark and gruesome and terrible. But so dang good. Like seriously, one of the best things I ever read. I'm not even joking. Now I'm really cold on my feet, which you were very interested to know. It's just so good. I just cannot describe what I feel when I read it. I'm just going to calm slightly down after Eclipse, but everything is still terrifying. I don't know when I'm reading Volume 7, but hopefully soon. Thank you so much for watching this. Leave a flame emoji down below if you enjoyed this, because we are burning people at the stake. And you should see me soon for more thoughts and reactions, etc. soon. Goodbye.